I realized I judged Dark Souls 1 too harshly. So last night I played on stream Dark Souls 1 for the first time ever, which I was really excited about because my favorite game of all time is Elden Ring. Elden Ring is the first Souls game I ever played. I fell in love with the genre, so ever since Elden Ring, yes, I am a noob to these types of games. I understand that. I've played Sekiro, I've played Lies of P, which I understand isn't, made by FromSoft, but is a Souls-like game. And what I heard is probably one of the better Souls-like games, even better than some of the FromSoft games. So it's a genre I really liked, and I always wanted to play the first three Dark Souls games just because it's more content, but also to see like how the beginnings of that genre were. And so I played Dark Souls 1 last night. I bought all three of the Dark Souls games actually, so Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to play through all of them. But I started with the first one, and I thought it was the worst game of all time when I first played it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I know a lot of people really like Dark Souls 1. They like the Souls games in general. And so I want to tell you why I thought the game was really bad and why I changed my mind, it being the next day. Why I changed my mind so quickly, I guess. And the reason is that Dark Souls 1, when you first go into the game, when you first kill like the first boss and you get into the game, you talk to this NPC, you have this big open area in front of you. And so you walk forward and then you get to this area called the catacombs. And to my not like I had no idea this was a thing, but the catacombs is apparently a late game level. Like it's fairly late into the game. I don't think it's end game. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I know it's fairly late into the game. You're not supposed to be there when you first start off. And I didn't know that. So I spent 2 hours and probably around 300 deaths in the catacombs, just not knowing that there's another area for me to go. I thought that was the only area because it is the path right in front of me, right? And I didn't think for a game like this it would be like Elden Ring because Elden Ring obviously has this big map. If you see an enemy, like with Elden Ring, the first boss that you fight is the Tree Sentinel, or well, the first boss that you see at least. It's probably not the first boss that you kill, but the first boss that you see is the Tree Sentinel, which is the super overpowered, like you are not supposed to kill it when you first start off boss. But with Elden Ring, you can kind of understand that you're not supposed to kill that boss at first because there's this whole open world. Like it's very easy to understand. Okay, I should go out into the open world, get some better gear, level up a bit. Put more points in strength and in my HP to level up my HP and stuff like that, and then come back and fight this boss when I feel like I'm ready. But in Dark Souls 1, it's not as open, obviously, as Elden Ring. So I saw this path sitting right in front of me. I was like, okay, that's the path to go. There's this tiny little staircase. Whenever you get to this main hub, there's this tiny little staircase on the right that I didn't notice at all until somebody actually came in my chat and told me I had to restart. And this is my other gripe with the game, right? This is actually, I'm sorry, I actually think this is shitty game design. I brought this up to someone else and they're like, bro, you say everything is shitty game design, but man, I really think this is shitty game design. So, I played through the catacombs level. There was apparently this shortcut that I did. I didn't know it was a shortcut because it didn't seem like a shortcut. I got down in this area with this little guy, I talked to him. I killed this boss. There was like this pinwheel boss. I killed the boss. And then there was this area where if I went up some ladders and did all these things, I got to this area that apparently I was supposed to activate at another point in time, but I never activated that area. So I was soft locked in this zone. I could never, ever, ever, ever leave the zone, because I'm so underleveled that none of the areas that are supposed to be open in this level will be open. And I actually think that's shitty game design because this is the obvious way to go is forward, right? The obvious way to go is forward. I go forward. I fucking have great determination to get through this area. I spend hours in this area. I die hundreds of times in this area just for me to get to a point where I'm soft locked and I can't continue the game and I literally have to restart. And I really do think that's shitty game design. Now, since then, and to be fair, I played at 5 a.m., so I was very upset, playing this shit for 2 hours just to understand that, oh my god, I just played this game for 2 hours and I can't even continue. Now I have to restart the entire thing. So I was very upset last night. But, ever since waking up and I thought about it again, I changed my mind on the game because I now know there's another way to go. I had no idea there was another way to go until somebody in my chat actually told me, you're not supposed to be here. This is like an end game area. You're not supposed to be here. You're soft locked. You can't do anything. Thank God for that chatter, because if that chatter wasn't in my chat and didn't tell me that, I would have been stuck down there for who the hell knows how long. I probably would have never even played the game again because I had no idea I was soft locked. And the area has enemies that are so higher level than I am that it was just upsetting to play. And I had no idea there was another area I could have gone. So, once he told me I needed to restart, I restarted. And I didn't go through the catacombs. I found the staircase to my right, which, I just didn't notice. I didn't notice that staircase when I first played. I just went straight. There's like 3 different areas you can go straight. So I was like, okay, let me just go through these areas. And then one area led to the catacombs, which, led to this other thing, So I just thought that was the way to go, right? But now I understand the game is all also interconnected. So the end game parts are interconnected to like the hub, if you will. The beginning of the game parts are connected to the hub. Mid game is connected to the hub. Like now I understand that, but I didn't know that at the time. And I feel like it's very hard to know that when you first play the game. You see this area in front of you. You go in front of you. It's a huge path. There's enemies. Like I feel like the mistake that I made is a very common mistake. Maybe not, though. But anyway, I went to my path to the right. The enemies were way easier. They were all one-shot kills. They weren't super difficult for my level. They took many hits to kill me. And it just was a lot smoother. I went against my first boss outside of that area, killed it in one attempt, and it just felt so much smoother, and I liked the game way more, understanding that the path that I went wasn't the path I was meant to go. And I feel like that is what turns off a lot of people from this game. Probably, if I were to imagine, I've never played the game before. I've never seen any gameplay about Dark Souls 1 before. I don't know anything about it. But if I were to take a guess, I think a lot of people probably made the mistake that I made, and it turns a lot of people off of the game because of that. And I really wish, and I understand you could probably make the argument that, oh, well, if you're really cracked at the game, you can go through the catacombs and be fine. But I feel like the goal of a game should probably be to get the most players possible. And I feel like an easier way that they could have done this is make it so that the catacombs is an area that you get to way later in the game, but it's like a one-way gate that you open back into the hub, right? So you go through the game, then you get to this catacombs area, and then it's like a one-way gate. You open the gate, you're back in the hub, and then from this hub area, I'm calling it a hub because, it's the central point, I think, of everything, at least from what I've played so far. I played it for like 5 hours last night on Twitch. That's in the description, by the way, quick plug. I feel like that would be a lot better, and that would be a lot less confusing, because that was very upsetting to sit through this very difficult area for 2 hours just to learn that I'm actually soft locked. I also don't think that should ever be a thing in any game, that you're locked in an area and the only way to get out is to restart the entire fucking game. I think that is shitty game design. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love this game. A lot of people aren't going to like me saying that, but I actually do believe that if you are ever locked in an area in a game and you have to restart the whole game just to continue, it's shitty game design. Now, that doesn't mean that the whole game is shitty game design. I actually think the game is a lot better now that I understand that there's another path to go, but I just wanted to get on here and talk about that real quick because I just was so mind blown by that with a game so popular that so many people love that you can actually unknowingly get to a super late game area and then just lock yourself in it and not be able to ever leave. I just think that's shitty game design. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's my only gripe with the game so far. I actually think the game is fairly fun with my time playing it. I got to this gargoyle boss. That's doesn't seem like it's going to be too difficult. I've only fought it once and I got it down to half health, and then the second one spawned, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I enjoy the game overall. I enjoy it so far, but I was very upset for that 2 hours of me going through the catacombs, not knowing that this is an over leveled area for me. I had no idea. I literally just thought this is how the game was. But yeah. All right. I'm that's it. That's it. I appreciate y'all for watching. And yeah.